Stasis here. We are back in the world of Magic Farm 2, and I do apologize that it's been about a week since we've gotten back to this series. I recorded just enough to get us close to done with vacation, but not quite enough to get us all the way there. And unfortunately, we did have just a bit of overlap, and that kind of made things a little funky. For some reason, Walla does not seem to be on. The fuck, Walla? There it goes. Okay, perfect. Okay. So one of the issues that we're currently having that I completely forgot about is the farm out there. Oh God, did it just eat it? Yeah, it did. The farm that's out here has an extra component that I neglected to realize. So we need to fix that. We need to fix that before we do anything else. Again, I've lost my wrench. Of course you have. Lose my wrench every fucking time I play this game. There we go. I did dump all my inventories in there just because, well, I couldn't be bothered to really sort it. That's going to be one of the things we're going to need to start working on to kind of fix things up. All right, so you can see right here, we've got the wood here. We've got the vines, which are not what I didn't really expect there to be any vines. So unfortunately, because we have wood and because we have vines, everything's backing up right here, which you can see we've got a bunch of jungle saplings stuffed, which also means the planter out there is not going to be getting any more jungle saplings as well. And that's not good. That's not good. We want to fix that. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this. We're going to pop this. Then we're going to place another setup here, just like that. And then we need another item duct, but we just got one by removing that. So we'll put the item duct right here. We'll give that just a second, and hopefully we will see. Now where did the? Oh, that's right. I didn't get it. I didn't grab it. Hopefully, we'll see some saplings coming down. So far, I'm not seeing them come down, so it may actually be like completely jammed. Nope, there it goes. Okay, so now you can see these guys are coming down. It just took a minute. All right. So what we want to do here, since we don't have a servo, we just want to go ahead and right-click there. And we'll put the little monster back down right there. See, that's lit up. It dumps that. Comes all down here, and it'll slowly start filling up in here in just a couple minutes. So that will at least fix that issue. So this is going to be a little bit more automated. That'll give us a little bit more to work with and to run with, and we should be fine. So if we come back up here, this was the furnace that we were using last time. Now, interesting enough, I could have sworn we had this up on a couple hours. And when you shut a single player world down, there should not be any more chunk loading going on. So it's a little weird that this thing is once again trying to do stuff. So I'm a little confused. Now, it's also quite possible that I just simply didn't mess with it, and I didn't get around to what do you call it? Maxing it all the way out. I honestly don't remember. I know I didn't max it all the way out. That's impossible. Well, it's not impossible. It just takes a really fucking large amount of stuff. Now, one of the things I am curious about, you'll see off in the distance, we have the big, well, I need to get inside before I die. You'll see we have the big Natura tree over there. I don't know if MFR supports Natura trees. The only reason I even bring it up is with a Natura tree, you know, you get one of those to grow, you're going to get like 10, well, not 10,000 wood, but you'd probably get, well, no, you might get a couple grand wood out of one of those trees. So that would give us some nice possibilities. Now, one of the other things that we can look at, I don't know if the recipe is in here. I think it's under charcoal. I saw this recipe in, I think it was Blood and Bones. But you can see right here, we've got all of this wood and stuff. Cooked meat right here. Compressed sawdust. Okay, so compressed sawdust will give us charcoal. Compressed sawdust happens, I believe. Yes, compressed sawdust comes from here. The only issue with this is you're getting it as a byproduct. Now you get 100% per sticks that you grind up. Well, not sticks, but trees that you grind up. So you're getting 1-to-1, which is nice, but I don't believe you can grind up planks. That's my only issue. Now, if we could grind up wood into planks and then just continuously grind those planks over and over again until we get more and more sawdust, then that would work out just fine. But I don't think that's something we can do. It does look like you can grind up wooden weapons and things along those lines. But the math on that's a little hinky. So I guess the best way to go about it is right here with a wooden sword. A wooden sword's going to give you 2 more planks and some sawdust. Well, a wooden sword costs one stick and 2 planks. So 1 stick and 2 planks is a fraction of 1 piece of wood here. So what we could technically do if we really wanted to min-max this would be to take the wood, grind it up, which will give us 6 wood planks. 6 wooden planks would make, I don't know, what is that? Probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see, 6 times 4 is 24. So with 24, we can make a shit ton of swords, which would then be able to let us to make more charcoal. So we could basically turn this farm exponential even further by making swords and then grinding the swords up in the sawmill. The problem that we're going to run into at that point is just the sheer amount of things that we're going to need to do to burn. So if you look at some of the furnace options, whoops, that's not what I meant. If we click on here, furnace, we don't really have a whole lot of furnace options that are going to be badass. I think the best option maybe would be the Thaumcraft furnace thingy. But the rest of these at the moment can't be sped up. So there's no way for me to increase the speed of them. Now, I believe in the new thermal expansion setup that they're fixing to start on in, I think it's a 1.7 mod, they will have upgrade slots, which will allow you to speed things up. If we had IC2, we could get things sped up. So in short, I'm not sure if this over here is going to be the best option for us to produce power. It's an easy option, and this thing is very, for what it does, it's pretty fucking efficient. But at the same time, we're going to be running through just an absolute ridiculous amount of wood, and that's really the problem. Is it just requires so much wood. And if you guys remember on Sky Factory, the series that's pretty much concluded at this point, but we're still catching up on videos, we had almost 10 fully upgraded dart furnaces with quickening cores that couldn't keep up with the engine. So I can probably get it up to, I don't know, maybe 400 or 500 RF a tick or so with a minor setup, but anything beyond 400 or 500 RF a tick is going to require just an absolute asinine amount of furnaces, and I'd have to get it pretty much all automated with ME system, and it's just going to be bad. We'd almost be better off with other options. So one of the things that we really need to work on, and I need to see if she's changed these. One of the things we really need is one of these quarries. Now, these quarries aren't so bad. The main issue that we're running into is ender pearls. We need ender pearls. And as far as I know, in her version, the only way to really get those is with bees and fish. And neither of those are going to be really good options for us. Because, I mean, they could be good options, but the problem with bees and with fish is that it requires us to have the right biomes. Bees is going to require us to crossbreed until we get the right bee, and with fish, I've got to basically get into the end or change the setup a little bit. So we're going to have to do something else. Alright, so my new idea, at least temporarily, to fix a lot of our problems is we're going to make a mob spawner. Now, eventually I'd like to make a MFR mob spawner, but there's a few issues that we're running into with the MFR mob spawner. First off, MFR mob spawners require monster essence, which you can see right over there in that little tank. Unfortunately, I can't really make monster essence because I can't make a breeder to keep these things auto-breeding because I don't have any carrots, and I have to constantly do it manually. The other issue is I can't use MFR to make a automatic spawner because you need reusable safari nets, and a reusable safari net requires an ender pearl, which again I don't have. So I'm kind of torn. So what we're going to basically be doing is making a vanilla, in essence, mob spawner with a little bit of an MFR twist. So here we are. This is our base right here. And the goal is to get 24 blocks from our base. But we want it to be close enough to where it's not unloaded chunk-wise. So I believe, let me make sure I don't end up fucking falling in that hole there. I believe for this to work, I need to be within 128 blocks of my base, but at the same time, I need to make sure that I'm at least 24 spots away minimum for monsters to spawn. So to kind of keep it fair. So right here, we're going to say we're at 65. So 65, or no, whoops, wrong number. That's my height. Right here, we're at 840. 840. So this is the other side. And here, we're at 812. 812. So that's what? 40 minus 12 is... no, it's not minus 12, is it? Yes, 40 minus 12 is 38, I think. 8 is 20, 28. So we're actually 28 blocks here. So this is good. This is good. And this is on the outside of, I believe, our spawner. Because you can see the spawner stopping, or not our spawner, but what do you call it? The farm. So this is good. So we're going to clear all this. And the complicated part here is we need to make sure that we've got enough room to spawn everything. So we're gonna just kind of clear all this stuff out real fast. I don't know why all this stuff has grown here like crazy. Now the option is kind of twofold. One, we want it to be at least 3 high. If it's not 3 high, it won't spawn Enderman. We also need enough room to grind everything that we've got here. So what we're going to end up doing is, if this is the end of our farm right here, so we're just going to do 3 spots and we're going to place our front wall right here. So this is where the front wall is going to go. The grinder will go right there. And then from here, we'll pump out mob essence, power, and items. So we're just going to go ahead and set this up. Now, I don't know the exact preferred sizes. I know an 8x8 farm will be pretty good. The only real limiter here is going to simply be the fact that we're going to have to put conveyor belts in here. And the conveyor belts are what's going to move everything forward. So I think we're just going to do it to, well, I guess we can go actually make the conveyor belt and we can kind of see where we're at. Because we obviously don't want to go bigger than we can do conveyor belts for. Now, I believe the mob grinders do a 5x5 area in front of themselves. I believe. And there's also no way to update mob grinders. The other nice thing about mob grinders is they insta-kill per tick. So if the mob grinder gets the ability to kill, which it will kill the stuff instantaneously, which is a really nice feature. So if you get a god monster spawn, it's not going to be a big deal because you kill anything, which is really, really nice. Now, I do need to get over here and fix this this nasty setup, but once we get some ender pearls, I believe we'll be able to get some vacuums, right? Vacuum hopper? Yeah, right there. And that'll make things a lot easier for the mariculture side of things. And then we may actually make a farm. It just kind of depends on how many Endermen we can get. Eventually, we'll be able to get a division sigil and get some cursed earth, and our problems will pretty much be over. We're kind of in between phases. So let's get inside the house where it's safe. Let's go ahead and deposit all this. We can yank it back out here in a second. We're just going to put all this fish up because at the moment we don't really care. It doesn't do us any good. And the shiny ingot we'll put over here. We'll keep you. I do believe we're still grinding up some of these. So we'll make sure we keep that running because that's one of our big power generations over there. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop some food real quick so we don't starve to death. That would be kind of a bummer. Here we are, we've done all this wonderful stuff, we're finally making some progress, and then I die of fucking starvation when I don't necessarily have to. That would be just tragic. Completely and utterly tragic. Alright, so for conveyor belts, let's look that up. Conveyor belts. There's a bunch of different types of conveyor belts, but the only one we need is right here. Now you can see we need a bunch of rubber, we need some iron, and we need some redstone. Now we've got the iron, the only thing we're really kind of low on is redstone. Thankfully, each one of these makes a fairly decent amount of conveyor belts. Sorry, I was trying to see if we had any rubber over there. I know I've got some rubber, and worst case scenario, we can get out there and, wow, why aren't those stacking? It's kind of weird. Worst case scenario, we can go plant some rubber trees, but I'm pretty sure we've got at least some rubber around here. I've just got to locate it. There we go. Sleeping it off. Got to be careful in this one. That's all we need is like a creeper with some kind of ridiculous power to spawn and just absolutely kill me. Because they're awful quiet. They're perfectly happy to sit up on my house all day and just wait for me to come out and then violently teabag me. And contrary to popular belief, that's not what I'm looking for. And I'm not seeing any rubber at all. There it is, raw rubber. Okay, perfect. We're gonna stop this momentarily. Put you back up here. And do we actually have any rubber in here? There we go. I think I turned most of my other rubber into plastic, I believe. Thankfully, like I said, we've got plenty of the rubber saplings. We've even got some rubber wood there. I believe we can extract that. Maybe not. That may actually require IC2 with the extractor. Although the squeezer might be able to do it, but I'm not entirely sure with it. Now, one of the things I'd like to do eventually is we can kind of speed this process up over there if I can get a fire charge. With a fire charge, we can... And I thought I had a fire charge from our looting last weekend, but I may be wrong. If we can get a fire charge, I can put it on an axe, like this one here, and it will automatically smelt all of the wood for us. So I just go through and just bam, 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 clear them all, and I'd instantly have charcoal, which would allow me to speed some of this process up just a bit, at least this part of things. But again, you know, the sheer bulk that you need to keep this thing running is just, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely batshit bonkers. And you don't really realize it until you start trying to make it work. Now I'm going to actually put these in the other two engines over here because they do produce a fair amount of RF. You can see right here they will produce 80 a tick. We're not quite there at 80 a tick yet. And in all honesty, I'm probably going to consider dropping that other engine. This is, I think, my third series where I've tried to make that engine work, and as much as I love the idea of it, until we get a little bit further on, I just don't think it's feasible, unfortunately, because you just need an absolutely ridiculous amount of charcoal. Now, one of the nice things is once you do get things running, you can utilize this engine right here because it's diminishing returns, basically. When you first start off, you're making a ton. And then as time goes on, you start making less and less per buck, less bang for buck when it comes to inputting that stuff. So you eventually get to a point where you're putting like 15 stacks of charcoal in it for like, 5 or 10 extra points, and it's just really, really slow. Well, what you can do then is you can just get more engines set up and start feeding more engines, and you'll start getting more bandwidth for your buck. So yes, each engine will be producing less than the aggregate total could be maybe for one, but you can get 3 engines to 500 faster than you can get 1 engine to 1,000, if that makes sense. Hopefully I explained that in such a way that it computed. If not, it is purely my fault. So, all right, so we've got quite a bit of rubber now. We've got quite a bit of redstone. If we load this up, you can see we've got enough for a decent amount here. Now I'm gonna be careful. I'm not gonna burn all my redstone here because I don't want to have to go and remine today. But that's 64 at 64. Where's our sun at? Sun's directly overhead. We got plenty of time. Now the problem with conveyor belts, they're not always the best method to move mobs. Eventually it'd be nice for me to have like an entire row of mob grinders up here, which would significantly increase our chances of one of these mobs getting ground up. But the problem with it is that costs a lot of resources, and we're kind of shy on resources at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to set these up just like this. That's going to run everything to the center, which is where the mob grinder is going to be. There we go. Whoops. There we go. And then we're going to start in the center. We're going to start right here. And then we're just going to kind of go... We're going to go out from here. So that's what? 4 blocks? That's 3 blocks. That's 4. Whoops. Okay, that's... Alright, alright, alright. Okay, that's 4. That's 5. 6, 7. That's 7. Let's start with just 7. And let's see if we've got the resources. Because like I said, you know, this gets really expensive really quickly because, you know, yes, you get 16 a pop, which is good. I mean, that's a lot to have. But again, the issue runs in with, you know, we're still going to need a fuck ton of these things. You know, when you first see something, you're like, oh yeah, you know, 64, you know, 264s, that's a lot. You know, I can really work with that. That's going to get a lot of stuff done. You know, and then you start placing it, and it's like, oh Jesus, I'm going to need a lot more than that. So I think we've made enough. Oh, come on. As you can see, it does really good at grabbing things, including players. Fucking hell. Make sure not to grab it. The drawback, though, to this is it doesn't grab monsters quite as good. I mean, it moves them. They'll definitely get moved up. They're just not going to get moved up quite as well as a player does. Like, a player can't even get out of the damn thing. So, I mean, it can. It's not easy. All right, we're going to do a couple more rows over here. I think we'll do 2 this time. Bam, 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 bam. And it looks like we're going to end up trimming one of the sides. 20, that's what, 8. So we got enough to do this side over here. And then we'll just trim the left side over there a little bit. We'll be fine. We are going to need 1 piece of something there. We'll just move a piece of dirt. I could have put a piece of... I almost said piece of tree. Could have put a piece of wood there, but I don't know. The OCD in me won't let me do it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do 1 more row here, and then we're gonna draw a wall right here. So you can see when we set this up here, we're a little bit short, but we're gonna end up breaking these 2 right here, and then we'll be fine. And you can see it even moves items, which on one hand is kind of nice, on the other hand is kind of like, damn it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish building this thing off camera, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like before we seal on the top. All right, folks, as you can see, our little area is set up and finalized. You can see we've got conveyor belts rocking and rolling in here full speed, full bore. Now, what I'll be doing from here is, at least temporarily, we'll be setting up our mob grinder that we've got back over here. Now, just by moving over here, you know, if you do one of these, make sure you seal it up, because just by moving over here, most likely, mobs are going to start spawning. You do have to be about 20 blocks away for that to really kick through, but it should work. It should work. So we're going to want to move basically this entire setup from here over to there, which thankfully isn't too big a deal. So let's go ahead and break this, break that. We're going to go ahead and just pop that off, pop, 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 pop. And once we get this rolling, the good news is we should be getting enough, what do you call them? Enough monster essence to really get rolling with things. Should, in theory. And then once we get a couple ender pearls, then we just set that up and we're good to go. Good to go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put the mob grinder right here. And then we're going to go ahead and, I don't think there's anything in there. I haven't heard anything. That's where we're going to suck the juice out of. And this right here is where we're going to suck the items out of. So let's go ahead and get the item duct put on here. Now, what you got to be careful with is Magic Farm does spawn a bunch of really fucked up monsters. A really bunch of fucked up monsters. So if you're not careful, you're going to end up, you know, with some nasty effects just by coming over in this area. So be careful. You know, make sure that when you run it up this way that you're not in dire danger. Because, you know, some of the mobs you think you're going to be just fine, and then, you know, you're dead. All right, so we got that set up. Let's go ahead and get the fluid tanks out. I'll just put this up here, and like that, and that should be good. Put these all down here. And because I'm a total little kid, we're going to do it in reverse. So that's 1, 2, 3. So bam, Bam, and then let's watch the fluid run down. Whee! Isn't that fun? All right, and that should suck without any need, but we will go ahead and install a servo in there just in case. I'll set it up like that. So that's going to suck the juice out, put the juice in the tanks, and then I can move the juice over. We can put it in an open blocks tank, or we can do whatever we want with it. So the only thing we're missing at this point is simply just some energy and some mob spawning. Now, I guess when we broke the block actually maintained the energy level that we had in it, which is actually kind of nice. That's a really cool feature. I didn't know they actually did that. What we'll do in the next couple episodes is I'll run one of these cables, because we've already basically got this halfway. We'll just run it the rest of the way. I'll dig the hole out underneath there, and then we'll have that powered on, and we should be good. So the nice thing about this is once we get 24 blocks away, we should, in theory, start seeing monsters spawning over there. And so far, they're not. It may be because there's just a little bit of light in the entrance there. If that's the case, then I can simply go through and block that whole thing completely off, maybe with covers or something along those lines, and that'll seal that in, and then it's completely dark. But as big as that room is, we should have a fairly decent mob spawn rate, hopefully. And we'll get some ender pearls, and zombies apparently drop carrots, so we might be able to get some carrots finally. Then we can get our breeder going, and having that over there won't be such a big deal. Anyways, for those of you watching on YouTube, hopefully you guys liked this episode. If you did, slap that like button, make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next clip.